Hey YouTube, today I want to give a perspective on gun belts, the importance of gun belts, and there's a difference between a good belt and a good gun belt. Gun belts do not equal belts. And I have a bunch of holsters here. I'm not going to do a holster review, but I'm going to show you, at least for carry, why it's important to get a really good belt. The big issue is being able to handle the weight of the firearm and being able to keep it high on your hip and to keep it from canting out so it prints in your shirt, for instance, etc. Now, a lot of people start off, they go and get a heavy belt at Walmart, or they think it's a heavy belt. This is an old belt from Cabela's. It's just a leather belt. They use it for hunting, and so that's an option. I don't think it's adequate. This is a Wilderness instructor belt. It's got a device here built into the buckle, heavy steel, that you can use to aid in rescue operations with ropes if you needed to. So this is from Wilderness, about 40 bucks. The leather belt, probably about $20–30 range for just a single ply leather belt. And then you can go for a higher end concealed carry belt, which is really my favorite. This one happens to be from the Beltman, and it's 2 plies of bull hide with a plastic reinforcement in it. This makes this belt very stiff. I mean, you can bend it to about here, but it's quite stiff compared to just a leather belt. Now, why do you need this in the first place? It's all about keeping that gun straight up and down, as opposed to sort of leaning out on your hip, and keeping it nice and high in the position where it's supposed to be, that 3–4 o'clock position on your hip. And in terms of holsters, I can show you what this actually means and why it's important. Just by taking, for instance, crossbreed Super Tuck, and if you just stick it on for the purpose of demonstration, this is inside the waistband holster. This particular holster is for a Glock 26. All these firearms have been safety checked, so there's no need to have a fit about them. They are safety checked. There's no magazines in any of them. And this is really the issue. When you put this belt on, you can see, of course it's going to be up against your body, but the propensity of this to allow the gun to rotate, it's too much. This won't result in, no matter what kind of holster you get, it won't result in comfortable carry. Now you can see that thing, will flex. You can get a flex on that. But if you go to a heavier belt, for instance, like the Wilderness, this is a belt I use for IDPA shooting. I wouldn't recommend this belt for everyday carry, but now you can see it really holds the holster nicely, and just with a light grip here, that gun is really staying right in the position it should be. This isn't great for wearing out if you're going to do concealed carry. It's not, you're not going to wear this with nice clothes, going out somewhere nice to a nice restaurant with your wife or whatever, girlfriend. But you can use, for instance, a belt like this belt from the Beltman. I think this guy is a small maker, makes top quality, everything's handmade, custom made belt. And you can see here with a belt that's definitely suitable to put on a pair of dress pants when you go out. Nobody's going to know this is a gun belt except you, and it holds the firearm very nicely. This becomes even more of an issue. Now again, remember, this Glock 26 right now is it's unloaded, so it's lighter than it normally would be with a full magazine in it, and it's a light gun to begin with. So this is where you have relatively fewer problems. But as you go up, for instance, let's take a 1911, no magazine, and and it's empty. Let's just thread this through one of the belts here. This is a DeSantis holster. Really nice. It's got 3 loops on it. It's not really a holster review here, but this is basically three loops to allow you to adjust cant. If you take your 1911, shove it in there. This is not for condition 0 carry, unfortunately. This is what happens with this plain old leather belt. This is outside the waistband. I have a good inside the waistband coming, but this is really unstable with a heavy firearm. You definitely don't want that, folks. It's going to be very, very uncomfortable and rather unpleasant to have on your hip, and I guarantee you it will show. And remember one thing about concealed carry. Concealed means concealed. It doesn't mean sort of hidden under a t-shirt. And here's with the Beltman 2-ply leather belt with a stiffener in it. Even on a 40-ounce handgun, this belt holds it in place very nicely. It can be snugged up the body, and it can disappear. Even inside the waistband, you need a good holster. I mean, you need a good holster and you need a good belt. Holsters are really a personal preference. There's a million of them out there. You can go on all the forums, and you can spend the rest of your life reading the pros and cons of everything and hearing everybody's opinions. But for the most part, the idea is a nice stiff belt. The Wilderness belt is a 5-stitch ballistic nylon belt. Also, very good. It doesn't fit in this holster. It doesn't fit in this holster because it's too wide. It's 1 3/4 inches. For IDPA, you want 1 3/4 inches because of just general stability. But I can show you on this is a Blackhawk Serpa, where this will just go in nicely, fit over, and you can take. This is my IDPA gun, Beretta 92. We'll check it, even though I've checked it already, and of course it's unloaded. But you can see, even in a Beretta 92, this nylon belt, if it's made correctly, will support the firearm when it's snugged up the body. Not as good as leather, in my opinion. Although you can get these Wilderness belts with a nylon reinforcement inside of them, which should make them even stiffer. The problem with the stiffness is I think as you start adding material to this belt, they become a little bit less comfortable. This belt is infinitely adjustable too, because it's got a huge strip of Velcro right here and some Velcro here, so when you double it over through the buckle, you can set it, which is really good depending, if you're shooting in the winter versus the summertime, depending on what kind of clothes you're going to wear. I have a word to the wise. Wilderness belts, you can get them off the shelf. They're about $40. When you go for a custom leather belt, you're looking in the $100 range. What are you paying for? Well, you're paying for it being handmade. You're paying for brass, solid brass hardware that's highly polished, and craftsmanship. Somebody's time to sit down and actually make this specifically for you. You give them your measurements, they make them for you. You have to wait. You have to order it and be prepared to wait. I've seen a lot of forums where people have ordered custom holsters and custom gun belts, and they've bitched and moaned about how long it takes to get them. You got to be patient. It's done up front. Give them time to deliver their product. They'll stand by it, and you'll enjoy it. I don't get endorsed by any of these people, unfortunately, but I'm telling you, you spend more money on a belt, you get what you pay for. It's worth every dime. Gun belt. Much different than a good belt. You need a good gun belt for concealed carry, otherwise the concealment will be defeated. And as I said, concealed carry meets concealed carry. If the police see your gun printing, at least in my state, they can stop you, and you're going to have a really shitty day afterwards. Alright, so that's just a little overview on gun belts. Thanks for watching.